Welcome to AC 24/7. I'm Aaron Dean. It's a make or break day for the deal to avoid a catastrophic U.S. default on its debt. The House of Representatives is on track to vote on a bill to suspend the nation's debt limit through January 1st of 2025. GOP and Democratic sources are confident it will pass.
A compromise bill to avoid an unprecedented U.S. default is headed to the House floor for a vote.
Everybody has a right to their own opinion. But on history, I'd want to be here with this bill today.
The deal to suspend the nation's debt ceiling through January 1st, 2025, struck by President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy over the weekend, would reduce budget deficits by $1.5 trillion over the next 10 years, according to the Congressional Budget Office. Some Republicans praising a positive step.
So now we're in a situation where spending will be coming down. And at the end of the day, this is about moving our economy in a better direction.
A group of GOP conservatives have said the spending cuts aren't enough.
Unless something changes on the bill, absolutely, I'm triple no.
And some progressive Democrats say the White House made too many concessions on federal safety net programs and climate.
This is a package that consists entirely of Republican wish list items.
House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries urged his party to back the bill to avoid economic disaster.
In divided government, we, of course, cannot allow the perfect to be the enemy of the good.
Despite discord within both parties, House Republican leadership confident the bill will move forward.
We're going to have the votes tonight. This will pass.
Check this out. More than half of the country's teachers believe arming themselves would make students feel less safe. More than half of the country's teachers believe arming themselves would make students less safe. That's according to a new report from the Rand Corporation that also found that 1 in 5 teachers say that they would be interested in carrying a gun to school. The 2022 survey found that 54% of teachers think that carrying firearms would make schools less safe, while 20% believe teacher carry programs would make schools safer, and 26% did not feel it would make a difference in terms of safety. An 11-year-old boy shot by a police officer in Mississippi after he called 911 to help his mother is speaking out for the first time since his release from the hospital. His question for the officer who shot him: why did you do it?
God will do what he said.
As he laid in his mother's arms, bleeding out from a gunshot wound, 11-year-old Adarian Murray was so convinced he was going to die, he began to pray to God and sing gospel songs.
I was thinking like I'm going to die. Tell my whole family, tell my teacher. I said I'm sorry for what I did.
On May 20th, Adarian's mom told him to call 911 for help after the father of one of her other children showed up at their Mississippi home at 4 in the morning. Nikayla Murray said when the Indianola police responded, she opened the door to an officer who already had his gun drawn.
He said everybody come out with your hands up. Then I came running inside the living room. Then I remember I heard the big bang. Then I just remember holding my chest.
Indianola police say the officer was Sergeant Greg Capers. Murray says he shot Adarian once in the chest, seriously injuring the boy. CNN has made repeated attempts to get comment from Capers, but he has not responded. Adarian's mother says he developed a collapsed lung and suffered fractured ribs and a lacerated liver due to the gunshot wound. He spent days in the ICU at the University of Mississippi Medical Center in Jackson, needing a ventilator to breathe.
It came right here.
More than a week since the shooting, he is remarkably in good spirits, but says sometimes when he's alone with his thoughts for too long, he has nightmares.
Sometimes I can see myself laying inside the coffin. Them are my thoughts at night, my only ones. And sometimes I think people are watching me. But my main thought is me dead.
I'm so overfilled with joy to have my child that I don't have time to be angry. I trust in the law that they will make the right decision. You know, my main concern is my son right now.
The Murray family and their attorney, Carlos Moore, have filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Indianola, its police chief, and several officers, including Capers. They're seeking $5 million in damages.
If anyone who's ever been a victim of excessive force deserves to be compensated, it's Adarian Murray. He trusted the police. He called the police to come to the aid of his mother, and he turns around and gets shot by the cop he called to rescue them.
If that officer was here, sitting right here across from you, what would you want to tell him, Adarian?
Why did you do it? I could have lost my life all because of you. I want you terminated for what you did to me.
This body cam footage from a deputy in Georgia shows the aftermath of a car accident, but another one is about to happen when a car hits a tow truck and goes airborne 120 feet in the air. The deputy rushed over to help the 21-year-old driver who survived the accident. A deputy also was injured by the flying debris. Officials say that it's raising awareness of Georgia's move-over law, which requires drivers to slow down and move over a lane when approaching emergency vehicles on the side of the road. The deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history is getting its moment in court. Opening statements began in the trial for the gunman who has admitted that he shot and killed 11 people in the Tree of Life synagogue in Pittsburgh in 2018. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. We take you into the courthouse where the scene was both emotional and intense.
4.5 years after the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in modern U.S. history, the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting trial finally began this morning. Loved ones of the victims arriving with police escorts and hugging each other in front of the court.
Today is another chapter, and hopefully almost a final or closing chapter of what happened 4.5 years ago.
Defendant Robert Bowers, accused of killing 11 Jewish worshippers and wounding several others in October 2018, sat in the courtroom wearing a collared shirt and an olive sweater, actively speaking with his attorneys. All while the government graphically laid out the deadly rampage he's accused of committing. Federal prosecutors said in the months leading up to the shooting, Bowers looked up Jewish organizations and posted anti-Semitic and anti-immigrant rhetoric online. Then, that Saturday morning, Bowers armed himself with several handguns, an AR-15, and a shotgun and drove to the synagogue. The prosecution said Bowers then methodically went through the synagogue and hunted Jewish worshippers, sometimes shooting victims at such close range they had singe marks from the rifle that killed them. 97-year-old Rose Mallinger was shot through the head while hiding behind a pew. Her daughter hid from Bowers under her body. An officer asked him why he had done this. Prosecutor Sue Song told jurors he responded in part, "All Jews need to die. The Jews are killing our kids." In her opening statement, Bowers' defense attorney Judy Clark called her client's actions incomprehensible and inexcusable, saying there will be no doubt as to who shot 11 congregants and wounded 7 others. But Clark said the jury must determine if his, quote, irrational motive and his misguided intent applies to the federal charges Bowers faces. 22 of the 63 charges against Bowers are eligible for the death penalty. Steve Cohen is the co-president of New Light, one of the 3 congregations attacked at the synagogue that day.
It's like today is a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's sunny, it's warm, but there's this huge cloud that sits over our head. It's an ugly, gray, rainy, sleet-filled cloud. And we want that cloud to go away. This is the beginning of that process.
Thank you for joining us for AC 24/7. For more, go to theadvocatechannel.com and subscribe on the Advocate Channel YouTube page. For AC 24/7, I'm Aaron Dean.